that brought us to where we are today.
I think it's that lack of trust, misinformation. I think we are missing a lot of education.
Plus, what's preventing members of Utah's Black and Latino communities from getting the COVID-19 vaccine? Why some say there's just not enough information.
And this year, how to keep those New Year's Eve celebrations from becoming super spreader events. We've got your pandemic alternatives.
Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News at 6 starts now.
And good evening. It's great to have you with us tonight. I'm Nick McGurk, in for Glenn Mills.
And I'm Emily Flores. Thank you for joining us. Well, New Year's Eve is just 2 days away, and celebrating safely can be challenging, of course, during the pandemic. Health officials advise against it, actually, against the big social celebrations, but say if you can manage to social distance and wear masks, that is okay, as long as you quarantine beforehand. ABC4's Jordan Burrows joining us live from Gateway, known for its holiday parties. And Jordan, how's it going to be managing this year?
Yeah, the Gateway is used to throwing these elaborate parties with people dancing and singing and eating and drinking. But of course, this New Year's Eve, that will be done on a much smaller scale. When I talked to the marketing manager, she says their plan for this year was to do a hybrid option, which they had planned for a couple months ago. That's for this New Year's Eve celebration. So a small amount of people will be allowed here to enjoy the festivities, and they must wear masks and social distance. Jacqueline Briggs says they will actually be 12 feet away from one another. Of course, the Gateway will also be live streaming the event online. Briggs says they did consider canceling the event, but said they want the community to experience some joy on New Year's Eve.
There's a lot of people at home that have felt isolated this year, and they may very well look forward to this kind of experience and something to do.
Just like with Christmas, health officials say on this holiday, on New Year's Day, they do expect a surge in COVID-19 cases in the weeks to follow. They say the best way to prevent that is to celebrate safely with those that live in your immediate household. Reporting live from the Gateway, I'm Jordan Burrows, ABC4 News.
Okay, thank you, Jordan. To the latest now on the spread of COVID-19 in the Beehive State. 2,736 more people have tested positive for the virus since yesterday. The Utah Department of Health also reporting 16 new deaths. That brings our death toll now to 1,235. There are 506 Utahns currently hospitalized. Total hospitalizations from the beginning of the outbreak stand at 10,763. More than 20,000 people, by the way, have received the first dose of the vaccine. We're going to take a look at the past 7 days now. The rolling 7-day average for positive tests is 2,035 per day across our state. The average positivity rate for laboratory tests is 24.7%. Now, the Utah County Health Department, they started administering doses of COVID-19 vaccines to firefighters. Both Lehigh and Mapleton fire departments, that includes paramedics and EMTs, they got their first doses today. 13 people with Mapleton Fire volunteered to become some of the first pre-hospital EMS workers in the state to receive the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. Lehigh Fire Department statement said this is an important step toward protecting the community, first responders, and their families.
While some are lining up for the shot, others in Utah minority groups tell ABC4 News that they have mixed feelings about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. ABC4 News Northern Utah correspondent Jordan Verdadero joins us with more on that story.
Residents say they are left with more questions rather than answers, especially with how the vaccine could impact minority populations like Latinos and Blacks who have been disproportionately affected by the virus here in Utah. Lizette Villegas is a Latino advocate out of Cache Valley and says many Hispanics are too worried to get the Moderna or Pfizer vaccination.
I think it's that lack of trust, misinformation. I think we are missing a lot of education.
She says she and her family have all received preventative vaccinations for other diseases, but she's not yet ready for the coronavirus shots.
It's just too soon, and we don't know much about it, and it's intimidating to just jumping in because everybody else is doing it.
Alicia Martinez of Midtown Community Health Center in Ogden says feelings like Villegas are completely normal, but believes these vaccines are the only hope right now.
There are a lot of questions, and there may not be a lot of answers, and that's definitely the scariest thing. Because you don't necessarily feel like you can make that choice with the information that's available. and not only information, because right now we are being inundated, but digestible information.
Unethical U.S. government medical research in the past has caused many minorities to lose trust with the public health system, such as the Tuskegee syphilis study on Black men, which misled them to believe they were getting treatments they never received.
But the biggest is that lack of trust, of we're just going to get it because the government is telling us to get it. And as we know with the Latino community, trust is very important.
I want to make sure that individuals know that they can reach out to their primary care provider or those trusted organizations to get your questions answered in a manner that's digestible.
Villegas says maybe one day she will get the coronavirus vaccination once more information becomes available specific to minorities. Reporting in Ogden, Jordan Verdadero, ABC4 News.
Thank you, Jordan. Well, Midtown Community Health Center will begin distributing vaccines to patients sometime between January and March, they say. For more information, you can head to our website, abc4.com. And from northern Utah to southern Utah, you can see on the Southern Utah Weather Camera Network a dusting of white there. Will we see more? ABC4 Chief Meteorologist Alana Brophy always has the answer.
Alana joining us now. Sorry to interrupt. I want to say hi.
I'm so
we love
glad.
Alana.
Hi, Nick. I'm happy to see you. Emily, I'm happy to see you, too. And yes, that fresh snow in southern Utah means snow cover on the ground and cold temperatures in store for tonight. It's also very icy shot there from Bear Lake. Carol Dyer sent this our way. Beautiful. We saw the sunshine, but unfortunately, some inverted conditions up there in places like Cache Valley. Great sunset caught tonight by Brian Whiteleather. Thanks for sending this my way. Weather at abc4.com for your weather photos. This was North Ogden at 5:06 on the last Tuesday of the year. We had that storm system that dropped the snow exit the state. Now the front right there in the Four Corners area still bringing some wet weather to Bluff. That should clear in the next hour. Places like Monticello picking up 7 inches of snow from that system. We watch it move to the east and we're seeing some more clouds starting to move in. They'll impact us for our Wednesday, but clear skies tonight with high pressure in control. Cold temperatures out there freezing along the Wasatch Front. Logan at 11 degrees, Evanston at 17. Cache Valley struggled today, stayed in the teens, and that's because of the inverted conditions. 27 in Salt Lake right now, teens in Moab, 21 in Green River, 10 in Milford, Delta at 19, 43 in St. George. That's the warm spot. Like to see it. But unfortunately, the rest of the state frosty. 20 is expected for the next several hours in Salt Lake as we get through with those clear skies, so a very cold start to our Wednesday. We also get on Wednesday the arrival of our next storm system in the Pacific Northwest. It won't start to impact us for another day, but I will show you exactly how this will ring in the new year with portions of the Beehive State in my full forecast. Nick, Emily, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Alana. Just into our newsroom. In Sandy, firefighters responding to a house fire. They discovered the homeowner was dead inside the house. We've got the scene for you here. 11201 Tall Pines Way in Sandy. A neighbor reported seeing smoke and then flames just pouring out of the second story and even the attic. Fire crews say they couldn't get to the second story because fire had damaged the weakened floors. Firefighters from both Sandy and Draper, they're investigating at this hour just what started this fire. Now, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was hit with several lawsuits this week for allegedly covering up decades of sexual abuse among Boy Scout troops in Arizona. Now, the lawsuit alleges members of the church, sponsored Boy Scout troops, as either church-sponsored Boy Scout troops, allegedly were abused, and they would tell church bishops about what they'd experienced. Now, the bishops, allegedly, would tell the victims to keep quiet so the church could conduct its own investigation, and in the meantime, the accused would be allowed to continue in their roles. A church spokesman said in a statement that the allegations are inaccurate and that the church has zero tolerance for abuse.
Well, South Salt Lake police are asking for your help to find a suspect in an armed robbery. Police said back on December 4th, this man robbed the Family Dollar in South Salt Lake. Now, he was on a bike and apparently frequents the plasma donation centers in downtown Salt Lake City. If you can identify this individual, please contact Detective Hill at South Salt Lake Police. The city of Ogden has a new police chief, the mayor naming Eric Young the new chief. This following Chief Randy Watt's retirement announcement. Now, Watt was named chief of police in 2016 after previously serving as the assistant chief. Eric Young previously served as Ogden deputy chief of police before being named chief today.
I really take it as a challenge to go out and kind of help change the face or the opinion of policing, at least in our community.
The mayor's pick for the new chief still needs to receive consent from the city council. Today, the city of Taylorsville also appointed a new police chief. The city has given the job to Brady Cottom. The Taylorsville City Council will vote on Chief Cottom's appointment on January 6th. Cottom will lead the new Taylorsville City Police Department beginning operations July 1st, 2021.
Well, still ahead in this newscast, 2020, right? That's all you got to say. It has been defined by the pandemic. And as this crazy year comes to a close, we are re-examining the big moments that brought us to where we are today.
Plus, Dixie State University is in for its first year of Division I basketball, and tonight they have a big road game. Who are they facing off against? None other than the #1 team in the country. That's ahead in sports.
And a look outside now at the Salt Lake Valley. What a gorgeous skyline, right? Alana will have more on what you can expect heading into New Year's Eve on your full forecast.
You're watching ABC4 News. You're watching ABC4 News.
All right, well, as 2020 comes to a close, I think it's safe to say this has been one of the more difficult years for many.
I think it is safe to say that, Emily. It has been a rough one. Yeah, ABC4's Haley Hendricks takes a look back at the moments during the COVID-19 pandemic that really shaped this past year. Haley?
2020 is a year many of us will not forget as we've watched our communities struggle and adapt during the COVID-19 pandemic. At the start of 2020, Chinese officials were racing to contain the beginnings of COVID-19. The virus quickly spreading worldwide, and Utah public health officials said they were preparing for the worst. By mid-February, a coronavirus outbreak caused havoc on the Diamond Princess cruise ship, quarantining thousands of passengers, including 2 couples from Utah.
They're getting second-guessed a lot for leaving everyone together on the ship with positive people.
In early March, public health officials confirmed the first COVID-19 case in the state. Days following, a stay-at-home order was enacted, shutting down non-essential businesses and forcing kids to learn online and leaving parents to figure it out.
There are kids that rely on the school for so many services that this remote learning puts our most at-risk kids in more risk.
Many left unemployed, and a stimulus check passed by the Trump administration to help them stay afloat. Hospitals filled at capacity, and healthcare workers on the front lines working around the clock.
And we didn't ask to work a pandemic. We work so hard, so incredibly hard. But we're getting tired.
By early summer, some cities and counties began mandating masks.
This order from our Utah Health Department to help us all be safe.
And by October, Governor Gary Herbert announced a statewide mask mandate. Back to school brought its own set of challenges.
We do know that age group has been responsible for a lot of our cases and in the start of the surge that we're currently in.
Masks required and test to stay programs put into place for students. And despite local health officials' plea to stay home for the holidays, millions of Americans packed their bags.
I mean, you could die at any moment, so you might as well go see your loved ones, is kind of the way I look at it.
And a vaccine brought hope into a new year.
I think that it's just going to give everybody the confidence that we can continue to do our job and we can continue to care for our community.
Reporting in Salt Lake City, Haley Hendricks, ABC4 News.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast with Alana Brophy, weather rate certified 9 years in a row.
Okay, Alana, you're on TV. It means it's time for weather.
Yes, indeed.
Right?
And we have a big forecast coming up. It is a time to ring in the new year. It's happening this week. What's going to be happening in the weather world?
Well, Mother Nature's not going to be left out. Everyone's staying at home, but she's still going to celebrate and bring us some snow showers for portions of the state. We start off with our Scott Taylor camera. This is Saltaire looking through the gate at those clear skies, which will allow for the temperatures really to drop quickly and bottom out as we head into the overnight. Really pretty shot there. Scott, thanks for sending it our way. Weather at ABC4.com is where you can send your weather photos. Temperatures right now are cold. Look at that. That's the live look at Salt Lake with the city lights there. Clear skies. 11 degrees in Logan, 28 in Ogden, 27 in Salt Lake, mid-20s in Provo, and dropping quickly, low 40s in St. George at this hour. So we're going to see those cold temperatures. We are battling some moderate air quality. That includes in Utah County, up there in Logan with the inverted conditions, and Uinta County. So the Uinta Basin definitely holding steady with inverted conditions as we head into tomorrow. Low pressure system tracking to the east. That storm's out of here. It was a quick hitter, but boy, did it produce. Weak high pressure has taken over and will remain in control into tomorrow, but we will get increasing clouds. Look at these numbers from that storm system. I know Salt Lake and areas north of it didn't get much, didn't get any really in the way of precipitation, but look at this at Eagle Point, 16 inches, 10 in Escalante, half a foot in Antimony, New Harmony in Washington County, Torrey at 6 inches. Also saw that in Manti, close to 6 in Beaver. Canyonlands got over 4, so did Price. Castle Country doing well with accumulating snow. Many folks in central and southern Utah waking up with that fresh snow on the ground, and that is going to allow for cold temperatures. There's that high pressure I talked about in control. It's weak, but it's still building that haze, and we will see moderate air quality as a result. Into Wednesday. Clearer conditions. We'll get increasing clouds as we get later into the day. There's our next storm system off the Pacific Northwest coast. Like many storms coming from that direction this season, we're going to see it split, but we do get another round of snow that's going to move in for New Year's Eve. It's going to be snow showers, so be ready for that for different portions of the state. Where are you included? Futurecast has the answer. Clear skies into tonight. Here come those clouds as we get through Wednesday afternoon. Just a few light showers, maybe right by the state line into tomorrow, but really the main event will be New Year's Eve. But this looks like a lot by Thursday morning, but keep in mind this storm system will split. We're not looking at major accumulations, maybe an inch or two. Our mountains will do well, and you kind of see how that moisture falls apart. So snow showers for New Year's Eve. That's Mother Nature's way of celebrating. Partly cloudy skies into New Year's Day with a more active pattern towards the end of the weekend and into next week. 20s and 30s along the Wasatch Front for those daytime highs. Freezing in Price, 20s only in Vernal, 34 in Cedar City. We'll see temperatures in St. George slightly below average for the next several days, which is the low 50s, but we've got 40s, breezy conditions as we get into New Year's Eve. An isolated shower possible for St. George, but not likely. We're going to watch that system and how it splits. Drier conditions for the weekend. Wasatch Front has a different set of circumstances. We have the 30s for the next couple of days, including snow showers on New Year's Eve and another storm Sunday into Monday. Rain first, turning to snow, and then Tuesday lining up to bring in another round. We'll take the moisture where we can get it. Nick, Emily, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Emily. Not Emily, Alana. I was thinking of how amazing Emily and Alana are. I was also thinking about New Year's Eve, reflecting on the year, Wes, and man, March 11th in Oklahoma City. Reflecting on the year and where this all started.
Seems like a long time ago. And the Jazz were back there last night. Jazz talked about being back in Oklahoma City, which brought back memories of when the pandemic started back in March. And Dixie State has a road game tonight. They're playing the #1 team in the entire country, the Gonzaga Bulldogs. We'll hear from the coach when we come back with sports.
Time now for ABC4 News Sports with Wesley Ruff. Time now for ABC4 News Sports with Wesley Ruff.
Utah Jazz beat the Thunder last night in Oklahoma City. Now, it was the first time they'd been back there since March 11th when Rudy Gobert tested positive for COVID. The game was canceled, and the NBA and the sports world shut down. So for the Jazz to be back where it all started was a little bit surreal.
It's the same year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's still the same year from all that. And, you know, it feels like it was forever ago, but, you know, I don't think we really thought about it too much. We had a moment when we got here. It was like, all right, we're back. And, you know, we're still kind of going through things. And we've seen a lot happen in this whole time as a league, as a country, as a world.
The one thing that was, of course, a little different was being back at the same hotel. And obviously you have all the memories coming back. So it's a little bit of a weird atmosphere, but you know, I'm happy that we're able to come back and get a win.
Weird, I guess. I don't think, you know, I don't think we harped on it. You know, it's kind of just like a moment where you're like, oh, like we're back, same hotel. I had the same room, believe it or not, which is ironic.
That is crazy. Well, Dixie State in St. George is in its first year of NCAA Division I basketball. Now, the team has games scheduled. They had games scheduled against BYU, Utah State, Weber State this year. All those got canceled, but they do have a game tonight. They'll be in Spokane, Washington to take on the #1 team in the country, the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
I guess when we say, hey, we'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime, we're doing that.
The Trailblazers had reached out to Gonzaga in the past, and when the Bulldogs had an opening, they called Dixie State. This game has been on the schedule for a long time.
I tell you, when we scheduled it, you could not believe how many calls we were getting. Like, you got to be kidding me! This is awesome, and so we're really excited. It's going to be fun.
But actually playing the #1 team in the country may not be quite as awesome once the game starts.
When I saw them beat Virginia by 29 points, and Virginia was 17th in the nation, I thought that's what I thought it too. I was like, what are we doing?
The game plan for tonight is simple.
we're going to try all kinds of stuff. I told them today, we're throwing the kitchen sink at them and try different things at different times. But, the main thing I just want our guys to do is just go out there and play as hard as they can.
Judkins feels his team will have two advantages, the first being the Zags played last night. They beat Northern Arizona 85-55, so maybe they'll be a little tired. And not being able to have fans there could help the Trailblazers.
Anytime you play a team on the road, it's that home court advantage of the fans. And I've heard this is a crazy place to play with the fans going nuts on you, So that part would be another one that maybe you can come in and sneak one out. I don't know. We'll definitely try.
No one really thinks Dixie State will beat Gonzaga, but the experience will be good for the program.
For the players, for us, for the school, I think people now are going to see Dixie State's name on the, on the board, and we hope it's respectful. They see that and those guys played them pretty good or whatever, because I think it's going to be big for us and our university, and we're excited. We just want to play hard and give them a game and see how it goes.
I asked Coach Judkin what the game plan was. If he'd scouted Gonzaga, and he said, yeah, they're bigger, they're faster, they're stronger, they play great defense, they shoot from the outside, they shoot from the inside, they're just really, really, really good.
They
play good defense. But my question is this. Who does Alana root for?
Ooh.
Because she went to Gonzaga,
and
she lived and worked in St. George. So, Alana?
I just feel like this is the hot seat. I'm just going to say Gonzaga puts out some pretty decent alums, and I do love me some Dixie State. I can't decide. Gonzaga. It's Gonzaga. I'm sorry, Dixie. You have my heart, though. 34 for tomorrow in Salt Lake, 45 in St. George. Oh, it really pains me to even say that. We're going to see clouds increasing in the north as our next storm system will take aim at the state for New Year's Eve with some snow showers. Guys, can't everybody win?
That was a tough one.
No, and you're going to be loved either way, whatever you say. You got to love Alana. That's just how it goes.
I love Alana.
All right, thank you, Alana. And thank you all for joining us here today for the ABC4 News at 6 o'clock. We're always online at abc4.com. We'll see you again tonight at 10.